Your mind right now is like a flashlight in a disco ballroom, light everywhere, illuminating nothing. You start a task, and within minutes, you're checking your phone. You begin reading, and suddenly you're thinking about lunch. You sit down to work and find yourself lost in a memory from 2012. Here's the brutal truth no one tells you. This isn't a willpower problem. This isn't about needing better productivity hacks or more discipline. Your scattered attention is actually a symptom of something much deeper. If you're ready to discover why your mind sabotages your focus, what your scattered attention is actually protecting you from, and Jung's counterintuitive method for reclaiming the laser-sharp concentration that's your birthright, then this video will show you how to transform mental chaos into unstoppable focus. Carl Jung discovered why brilliant people, maybe like you, have minds like Formula One engines running without a driver. All that mental horsepower, but no direction. He found that your psyche deliberately fractures your attention to protect you from something it's not ready to face. Your inability to focus isn't because you're broken or lazy. It's because your unconscious is in civil war with your conscious intentions. And until you broker peace between these warring factions, you'll keep sabotaging your own concentration. Listen to what's happening in your mind right now, even as you hear these words. Part of you is listening, part is judging whether this is worth your time, part is thinking about something you need to do later, part is analyzing that thing someone said yesterday. You're not present, you're fragmented, and each fragment is pulling your attention in a different direction. Jung called this the complex-ridden psyche, where autonomous parts of your personality hijack your focus for their own agendas. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your scattered attention isn't random, it's purposeful. Every time you're about to focus on something important, your unconscious derails you. Why? Because focused attention might lead to success, and success might lead to visibility, and visibility might lead to judgment, and judgment might trigger old wounds you're not ready to face. So, your psyche protects you by keeping you scattered. Can't fail if you never really try. Can't be rejected if you never fully commit. Can't be disappointed if you never completely focus. Here's what Jung discovered that modern productivity gurus miss. Your attention isn't just a mental resource, it's psychic energy. And psychic energy flows where it will, not where you want it to. You can't force focus any more than you can force a river uphill. But you can understand where your energy wants to go and why, then work with it instead of against it. This isn't about dominating your mind, it's about integrating it. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. But here's the catch. You can't choose focused attention while parts of you are choosing distraction. Those parts aren't your enemy. They're fragments of yourself with their own needs, fears, and agendas. The inner child who learned that daydreaming meant safety from criticism. The perfectionist who procrastinates rather than risk imperfection. The rebel who resists focus because it feels like submission. Until you acknowledge these parts, they'll keep sabotaging your concentration. The 178% increase Jung's method produces isn't hyperbole, it's mathematics. When you stop losing 95% of your energy to internal conflict and unconscious resistance, what remains is pure focused power. But this isn't achieved through discipline, it's achieved through integration, through making conscious what's been unconsciously scattering you, through healing the splits that fragment your attention. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Apply this to your scattered focus. What irritates you about your inability to concentrate? That it makes you feel weak, undisciplined, unsuccessful? These judgments aren't neutral observations. They're clues to what your unconscious is protecting you from. Maybe focus threatens your identity as a creative free spirit. Maybe it triggers memories of being forced to pay attention. Maybe it represents a commitment your psyche isn't ready to make. Here's Jung's first practical step. Stop fighting your distraction and start studying it. When your mind wanders, where does it go? Not the surface content, the deeper pattern. Does it escape into fantasy? That's compensation for an unfulfilling reality. Does it obsess over problems? That's anxiety seeking control. Does it replay conversations? That's social insecurity seeking resolution. Your distractions aren't random, they're symptoms. And symptoms point to causes. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. The focus you're seeking isn't found in productivity techniques. It's found in understanding why you unconsciously choose unfocus. What are you avoiding by staying scattered? What would you have to face if you truly concentrated? What success might you achieve that some part of you fears? These aren't comfortable questions, but comfort isn't transformation. Listen to this carefully. Every time you've experienced deep focus, those rare flow states where hours pass like minutes, what was present? Usually, it was alignment. Your conscious goals matched your unconscious drives. There was no internal conflict because all parts of you wanted the same thing. The activity engaged your whole psyche, not just your willpower. This is the secret. Focus isn't about force, but about wholeness. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Scattered attention is often a sign you're living someone else's life, trying to focus on goals that aren't yours, pursuing achievements that don't match your true nature. Your psyche rebels through distraction because it knows you're off path. The lawyer who can't concentrate on legal briefs but loses hours in flow while painting. The executive who struggles with spreadsheets but focuses effortlessly when mentoring. Your attention is trying to tell you something about who you really are. Here's Jung's second step. Identify your complexes, those autonomous clusters of psychic energy that hijack your focus. The mother complex that activates whenever you face authority. The inferiority complex that triggers when attempting something challenging. The perfectionism complex that paralyzes when standards feel too high. These aren't just psychological concepts, they're living forces in your psyche, each with its own agenda for your attention. In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Your scattered attention might seem chaotic, but it follows patterns. Map them. When do you lose focus? Morning or evening? Alone or with others? Under pressure or when relaxed? What thoughts typically derail you? What emotions precede distraction? What bodily sensations accompany wandering attention? This isn't self-criticism, it's self-study. You're becoming a scientist of your own consciousness. The data Jung collected from this kind of self-observation was stunning. People discovered their attention scattered most when approaching their growing edge, the place where they could evolve but hadn't yet. A writer losing focus just before breakthrough insights. An athlete's mind wandering when training intensity peaked. A student unable to concentrate on subjects that could transform their worldview. The psyche protects the status quo, even when that status quo is suffering. Show me a sane man and I will cure him for you. What we call normal attention, the ability to focus on command, is actually a symptom of successful repression. People who can focus without effort have often disconnected from their depths. Their unconscious is quiet because it's been silenced, not integrated. This brittle focus breaks under real pressure. Jung's method creates anti-fragile focus, concentration that grows stronger when challenged, because it includes rather than excludes the unconscious. Here's the third step, active imagination. Instead of forcing focus when distracted, dialogue with the distraction. If anxiety pulls your attention, ask it. What are you trying to protect me from? If fantasy interrupts, inquire, what are you compensating for? If memories intrude, explore, what are you trying to resolve? This isn't indulgence, it's integration. You're making conscious what was unconsciously controlling your attention. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your scattered attention is darkness, unconscious material demanding recognition. By bringing it to light, you don't eliminate it, you integrate it. The anxious part learns its concerns are heard. The fantasizing part gets its needs met consciously. The memory replaying part receives the resolution it seeks. When these parts no longer need to hijack your attention, focus becomes effortless. Listen to what happens when you practice this integration. At first, it seems like you're making things worse. More unconscious material surfaces, more distractions arise, more resistance emerges. This is good. It means you're touching what matters. You're approaching the core conflicts that fragment your attention. Stay with it. On the other side of this chaos is a focus you've never experienced. Not the brittle concentration of willpower, but the flowing attention of an integrated psyche. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. This describes the state of integrated focus. Your thoughts and feelings align. Your conscious goals and unconscious needs harmonize. Your attention flows naturally toward what truly matters because there's no internal opposition. This isn't the focus of a machine, it's the focus of a whole human being, and it's exponentially more powerful than forced concentration. The fourth step is shadow work, specific to attention. What qualities do you judge in others regarding focus? The colleague you see is obsessively focused. What do you reject in yourself that they embody? The friend you judge as hopelessly scattered. What do you deny in yourself that they express? These projections reveal disowned parts affecting your concentration. The obsessive focus you judge might be the dedication you fear. The scattered attention you criticize might be the freedom you crave. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. But becoming requires focus, and focus requires integration. You can't become who you're meant to be while parts of yourself pull in different directions. The 178% increase isn't about doing more, it's about wasting less. When internal conflict stops draining 95% of your psychic energy, what remains is laser-like attention that accomplishes in hours what used to take weeks. Here's what integrated focus feels like. You sit down to work and your whole being aligns. No part resists because all parts have been heard. No energy leaks into distraction because nothing needs unconscious expression. Time disappears not because you're forcing focus, but because you're fully present. What you're doing matches who you are. Your conscious intention and unconscious energy flow in the same direction. The fifth step is individuation through focused action. Choose one area where you'll practice integrated focus. Not your biggest challenge, that's too much resistance. Not your easiest task, that won't create growth. Something meaningful but manageable. Apply everything you've learned. Notice when attention scatters. Dialogue with distractions. Integrate what arises. Watch your focus deepen as your psyche unifies. Your perception will become clear only when you can look into your own soul. Clear perception includes clear focus. When you're no longer deceiving yourself about who you are and what you want, your attention naturally concentrates on what matters. The scattered focus was never the problem. It was the symptom. The problem was living a divided life. The solution is becoming whole. Listen to what changes when you apply Jung's method. Tasks that took hours now take minutes, not because you're rushing, but because you're not resisting. Projects that felt impossible become manageable, not because they're easier, but because you're not fighting yourself. Goals that seem distant appear achievable, not because they've moved closer, but because your energy isn't leaking in 1,000 directions. The 178% isn't just about productivity, it's about presence. When you're truly focused, you're truly alive. Colors seem brighter because you're actually seeing. Sounds become richer because you're actually hearing. Work becomes play because you're actually engaged. This isn't the grim focus of forced concentration. It's the joyful focus of integrated consciousness. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. Integrated focus feels like play, not because it's easy, but because it's natural. You're not forcing attention, you're flowing it. You're not conquering distraction. You're including it consciously. You're not dominating your mind. You're dancing with it. Here's Jung's ultimate insight. The focus you seek isn't a skill to develop, but a wholeness to embody. Every distraction is a fragment seeking integration. Every wandering thought is a part seeking recognition. Every lapse in concentration is your psyche, telling you something needs attention, not later, but deeper. When you listen to these messages instead of fighting them, focus becomes not something you do, but something you are. The practical implementation starts now, not with forcing focus on what's in front of you, but with asking, what part of me is resisting this? What is it protecting? What does it need? This inquiry isn't procrastination, it's preparation. You're clearing the psychic ground so focused attention can grow naturally. You're removing the unconscious blocks that make concentration feel like war. Your focused attention is your birthright, not the scattered, depleted focus of a fragmented psyche, but the laser-like concentration of an integrated consciousness. Jung showed the way, not through discipline, but through wholeness, not through force, but through understanding, not through dominating your unconscious, but through befriending it. The 178% increase is waiting, not in some future where you've finally mastered focus, but right now, in the integration available in this moment. Your scattered attention has been trying to tell you something. Listen, your wandering mind has been seeking something. Understand. Your fragmented focus has been protecting something. Integrate. When you do, you'll discover what Jung knew. That superhuman focus isn't superhuman at all. It's deeply human. It's what happens when all of you shows up for what you're doing, when your conscious and unconscious align, when your psyche stops fighting itself and starts flowing as one. Your extraordinary focus isn't something to achieve. It's something to uncover by removing what blocks it. The blocks aren't enemies, they're teachers. The distractions aren't failures, they're messages. The scattered attention isn't weakness, it's guidance toward what needs healing. Listen to the invitation. Stop fighting your distraction and start understanding it. Stop forcing focus and start integrating what prevents it. Stop trying to concentrate and start becoming someone who naturally focuses because all parts are aligned. It isn't a promise. It's a measurement of what's already possible when you stop losing energy to internal conflict. Your focused attention is there, waiting beneath the chaos. Jung showed the way. Now it's your turn to walk it, not through force, through wholeness, not through discipline, through integration, not through conquering your mind, through becoming who you truly are. The focused life is the integrated life, and integration begins the moment you stop fighting your distractions and start learning from them. Your superhuman concentration isn't in your future, it's in your wholeness, available now, waiting for you to stop scattering and start gathering all of yourself for what matters most. And if you want to dive even deeper into Jung's psychology, click the recommended video on your screen now.